So how has this show impacted your own fantasy football playing?
There are two things that work at cross purposes. One is doing a show about fantasy football during football season means you have very little time to spend on fantasy football because you're doing a show about fantasy football, so which is both fun and frustrating. So that gives you have no time to really work and study and set your lineups. On the other hand, we get access to all these great players now, so when they come on the show, they are getting hounded for information. Jay Cutler's on the show, everyone's asking about Brandon Marshall, everyone's asking about the offensive line, and you can see all of our actors and us lining up to basically just pump these people full of for info.
When it comes to your own league, how's that working out?
Better for some.
Not as good for Jeff as it has been for me. So we've had the League of the League for 4 years. Katie Aselton won the first year, and the cup is named the Aselton Cup after her. And then who won the second year?
You did.
And then Nick Kroll won the third year, and then I can't remember who won last year.
You did.
Yeah, so it's worked out not so bad for me. Thanks for reminding me. I totally forgot about that.
It is a huge shame sandwich. It is. And like Steve Ranasisi, who plays Kevin, and I both played the most fantasy football coming into this show, and we just thought, all right, we'll take it easy, and then we're going to walk away with it. I'll see you in the Super Bowl. That was year one. Katie wins. Then it's like year two. It's like, okay, now we're going to do it. This is crazy. And then she wins. Then Nick wins. Steve, by the way, still never been in the playoffs, and he is just getting really frustrated.
What's been the secret to your success with 2 championships?
I do not tinker. I have a decent draft. I've been shamed by that rainbow wheel of death and my computer's freezing and ending up on auto draft when I shouldn't be. So I can't say that I've had amazing drafts because I've had technical difficulties in the past sometimes. But once you have a good lineup, stick with it. You know, show some loyalty to those players. Don't be dropping them and adding them all the time. And
I tinker a lot. I've tinkered my way out of a whole bunch of wins. Can't stop. Chronic tinker.
And who is your real favorite teams in real life?
The Seahawks, Seattle Seahawks. We actually are season ticket holders, so it's a very exciting year to be a Seahawks fan.
we do. We are 12 men in the biggest sense.
Yeah, and as soon as the show stops shooting, we'll be going up and watching games. It's a blast.
When it comes to fantasy football, what is it about this that addicts so many people around the country?
I think people are looking for more reasons to spend time with their friends and not do the things they're supposed to be doing. So now there's yet another organized sort of hobby that gives you permission to ignore your family, your job, your children. It's just, golf, tennis, it wasn't enough.
It's state-sponsored hangout time, and also it gives you the ability to, no matter how you're doing in your real life, no matter how you're doing at your job or how you're doing, in your social life, on any given Sunday, you can be the king. You can be right, and I was right, and you can be smart, and you can be smart, and the best kind of being smart, which is smart and right at your friend's expense, and publicly. And that's what the message boards are for. So that's what makes it so fun, is that you have a forum to humiliate your friends.
And no athletic skills required whatsoever.
No, opening a computer is that's about as taxing as it's going to be.
We've seen a lot of television shows turned into video games. What would the league video game be?
I would love to see a league video game. We've tried for years to get people to pay attention to doing that, but I do think that some it's kind of like people do week by week fantasy. They do that sort of fantasy betting week by week. It would be great to be able to sit down and have a session of a season, or almost, every time you play, the same way you can play like a full game of Madden. And I think it would involve a lot of great fantasy knowledge and player stats, but it would also involve a ton of comedy and shit talking. So.
Yeah, and you don't want to go down the wrong path and end up in Rafi's house.
The really pathetic fantasy football chess type game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard some GTA. Some of the guys said there could be GTA elements as well in there, Grand Theft Auto.
Oh yeah, well that's what I meant. I think Rafi and Dirty Randy are living their lives like it's Grand Theft Auto, just in the real world.